Hey everybody, this is Izzy here coming to you with my review for the 2019 remake of the 1988 horror film Child's Play. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the review, my friends. Child's Play, the remake, is, I have to say, upon watching the trailers, I knew it wasn't going to be anything that was monumentally scary. Just because it's hard to really put Chucky, especially now, in a serious horror movie scenario because throughout the years, we have seen and been exposed to different values of horror film. Whether it's been Jason, Freddy, Michael, Pinhead, Leatherface, the Blair Witch Project, Paranormal Activity, Poltergeist, Hostel, Saw, Seven, you name Hereditary. I mean, you name it. It's hard to really categorize or to even more or less frighten viewers now, especially with a premise such as Child's Play, because Child's Play, I think, is a premise that doesn't really, I don't want to say it doesn't work anymore, but at the same time, it's hard to scare the viewers of a doll, especially nowadays, of a doll that's intent on murdering its target. In 1988, when the original came out, I can remember when I was a little boy and I watched this film, and I had a lot of toys. I had Thundercats, G.I. Joe, Brave Star, I mean, you name it. And this one toy in particular that I remember having, and I'm not sure if everybody's familiar with it, but it was called the My Pet Monster toy line, and it also spawned a cartoon. And the My Pet Monster, it was in the cartoon, it was a monster that when it broke its handcuffs, it came to life. But it was such a mischievous and harmless monster that he befriended a kid, and all they did was go about playing pranks on other people. It was a very harmless cartoon. But when I first watched this, because it was a life-size My Pet Monster, watched this and the whole concept of a serial killer possessing a dog coming to life and killing people, I made my dad get rid of the My Pet Monster stuffed toy. So that lets you know how revolutionary Child's Play was at the time for me in particular. But this remake, since it's modernizing Chucky using the waves of technology, I knew from the beginning that it wasn't going to be anything relatively scary because when you have a doll that is a corrupted AI, and because it became self-aware, that's when it goes on a murdering spree because it feels that it's trying to, anyone that is a threat to the bond between himself and Andy, that's when I think it senses to lose its fear factor, because we've seen and watched films where the AI has become aware and is trying to remove humanity. We've seen that with the Terminator, we've seen that with the Matrix, we've seen it with any science fiction film. So it's hard for that concept to be scary because, it's not anything that relatively should be used in order to try to frighten the audience, because it's always been used in such a fashion to where it's so over the top and grandiose in general that it's nothing to be afraid of, as far as, because you just look at it and say, oh well, hey, it's so over the top, I can't really picture this happening. But at the same time, as over the top as the original Child's Play is, the idea of a serial killer possessing the body of a doll was more personal and made you fear it more than rather this instance in this remake. But with that said, it follows almost the same premise and plot line of the original Child's Play. Andy and his mother are living in a dilapidated apartment, and they're not really well off financially. And you have Andy, who is isolated, having no friends. So in order for her to try to get Andy away more, in order for her to try to get Andy more into the concept of more or less removing himself from technology, she sees that he's so isolated that she buys him this doll. And what I will say about this film in particular, it actually pokes fun at the concept, because I remember watching the trailer and I said, what kid his age and at that size is going to want anything like this, even as a surprise, even as a birthday present? And it's funny because they do bring that up, and this is a minor spoiler, but he says, Mom, this toy is for kids, this toy is for babies, why would I want this? So I thought that was pretty amusing. But overall, I did enjoy this film. I thought it was fun and entertaining, and there was a lot of moments that actually had me creeped out, just because even though I can admit fully that dolls in particular don't creep me out, don't scare me, clowns don't scare me, but there was a lot of scenes in the film where Chucky comes off very mysterious in a creepy fashion. So I will give the director credit for actually managing to capture Chucky in a way that I feel that has been lost in many sequels actually. As far as I'm concerned, Child's Play 1, Child's Play 2, Child's Play 3 is the quintessential depictions of Chucky. Brad Dourif, as many are well aware of, is the original voice for Chucky. And while Mark Hamill, as most people are also very familiar with, he was Luke Skywalker, well, he is Luke Skywalker, and he's done the voice for the Joker in the Batman animated series and even in the video games. He is world-renowned in comic book conventions and the cinematic history. I mean, he is a very popular actor, voice actor. And while he's no Brad Dourif, I will say he managed to capture the whole lifeless nature of this robot intent on murdering anyone that gets in his way. And while I do prefer Brad Dourif, because Brad Dourif gave Chucky a sense of life, he made him more personal, and Chucky is just what we're used to with Chucky being so much more livelier and passionate about what he's trying to do in order to garner his obsession is different from this instance because, as I said, this is an AI. This is an AI that doesn't have any real emotions. And so he preys on the whole idea that Andy is going to be sad at the fact that this robot is attempted to exhibit some form of human emotion. But I thought Mark Hamill did a very good job of what he was given. This film is not scary at all. I mean, it's really not horrifying. I mean, there's a lot of violence, but I will say I do miss I miss Chucky being talkative. I miss Chucky being profane. I miss Chucky being Chucky. But again, I appreciate the director doing something different in this instance. But as I said, it's hard to make Chucky scary in 2019. I mean, it really is. Not that makes it anything horrible. You just can't really make a killer doll, at least in my opinion. I could be wrong. You just can't make a killer doll scary in 2019. It's very hard. It's very hard to scare an audience with that. But I love that this director and the actors and the writers and the producers, they knew how silly the concept is, so that rather than simply trying to take it seriously, they have fun with it. And it is a fun, exciting, it's very fast-paced, so that a lot of things don't really settle. It's also not very subtle either. Their acting is over the top, the violence is over the top, the whole dark atmosphere is over the top. Once it gets further into the climax, that's when it really gets over the top. But it's very comedic to a degree, and that's why I embraced. I love the fact that they actually embraced that this isn't anything that you should take seriously. Just go in, watch it, and have fun with it. And that's basically what I did. And I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I knew it wasn't going to be anything monumentally life-changing or anything that was going to make me feel as if that I should question the meaning of life. I knew that going in, but I still love the entertaining value of it. So with that said, it's still good. It's still good. Now, as far as I will give it a 2 thumbs up. Star rating, maybe a 3 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5. I mean, again, it's not horrible. I mean, it's really not horrible. I don't want anyone who hears this review to think that I'm bashing the film, because I'm really not. It is what it is, and if you think that you're gonna have trouble sleeping after watching this, you won't. I mean, you really won't. It's just so. I found myself laughing more than anything else because I've watched every horror film that there is to watch, and I can believe it. It takes a lot to scare me. The last horror film that truly made me unsettled and disturbed overall was Hereditary. So that lets you know right there how hard it is to scare me as far as horror films are concerned. But in this instance, I did enjoy it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was entertaining. It's something that I feel I definitely recommend it if you are just interested in watching a film where you get to kill a couple of hours and just watch the insanity unfold before your eyes. If you're going in there expecting something to really change your life, then this film is not for you. But if you really just want to have a good time with something and maybe watch it with your friends and have a little bit of commentary night with it, then this film is for you. I mean, it really is. It takes the concept of Chucky, turns it around, turns it upside down, and has fun with it. And that, to me, is what's most important in terms of a cinematic aspect, is as long as you are able to keep me engaged and have me entertained throughout the course of the feature, then I'm game. I mean, you have me sold regardless of the quality at times. And that's the honest truth here. So with that said, Child's Play 2019, I give it a 2 thumbs up, 3 out of 5. Highly recommended. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know on my Facebook what you thought, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. The next review is going to be Toy Story 4, and after Toy Story 4, it will be Spider-Man Far From Home when that comes out July 5th. And I hope to hear from you guys soon. Take care, and be safe.